And I first want to, welcome my panelists. The topic that I've been given to moderate is quite something that's very interesting. It's very contentious topic, what India should do, what our AI strategy should be, whether it should be foundational models, whether it should be foundational data, how do we bring together the diversity that's in India, how do we bridge the social divide. The questions are numerous, and most of the time we end up saying, the government has to do this, the policy has to take care of it. There's a lot of talent crunch that is there. At the same time, India is producing one of the largest number of graduates, which a lot of people somehow say that 50% of them are not employable. It's a tricky topic, but I'm looking to my panelists to help me out here and make some bold statements. Let's not be afraid. Share your thoughts on how we can make this happen. So before we dive into the topic, I want to see a show of hands. How many of you are entrepreneurs here in this room? Raise your hands. And how many are from the corporate sector? Okay, sab hum naukri wale hi hain. Good. All right. So without much ado, and I'm going to refer to my phone some questions. I'm getting old, so I need to remember better. My first question will be to Derick. You're on my right-hand side, so first question to you. You've been an entrepreneur, and you've had a successful exit. What pointers can you share that will motivate a lot of us here to start up in the AI space, grow a company, and then make an exit?
It's a deep question. I'll answer it from 2 points. The first is if you look at the solution space itself, right? You have data, you have AI, and the workflow. While there's a lot of focus on the AI bit, I think one of the biggest opportunities for Indian companies is to either have exclusive access to high-value data sets or to completely own end-to-end workflows. And I'll give you a couple of examples to illustrate that. So a strong bias towards industrial, because that's where I come from. So if you look at Bangalore today, Shell is monitoring, doing diagnostics and prognostics of all the rotary assets from Devanali. So they're owning the entire workflow, the data, the AI, and everything out of it. If you look at ABB, they're monitoring energy intelligence for a lot of assets in Germany, sitting at our Jalahali out here. Okay. And if you look at, for example, Chevron, for example, they're setting up large operations in Bellandur to essentially monitor the entire refinery digital operation, so to speak. So if you look at it, Bangalore is becoming, at least Bangalore I know, I'm sure there are other hubs, where I think they're valuing us for the vertical knowledge. It doesn't just need AI skills, you need the electromechanical skills. So Bangalore has a lot of, we need to have a cocktail of domain skills and AI skills. So that comes, so the first layer is workflow capture. The other layer is the foundational data itself. So I'll give a couple of examples. So if you look at a non-industrial example, healthcare space, right? Google came to Madurai, Aravind Eye Hospital, primarily because they had the largest database of diabetic retinopathy scans anywhere available in the world, publicly available. And they trained their models here and took it back. So you can easily detect diabetic retinopathy before somebody goes down. So we had exclusive access to that data sets. If you look at Tiruchi, for example, BHL Tiruchi, they have one of the world's largest data sets on welding defects. And if you could look at IISc in Malleshwaram, they're also building the largest database of corrosion data sets. So there is a movement towards owning some high-value data sets. And then the second point I wanted to make is, so when we were selling in Houston, we were excited by the shiny new toys of AI and selling to the maintenance operators and reliability there. And one of the feedback we got from them was, the best way to sell AI is not to use the word AI. You should be able to send an outcome to us. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make, yeah.
Very interesting that the best way to sell AI is not to use the word AI. And I mean, just drawing from my experience, hearing a lot of founders pitch that they are an AI company, There's a lot of heartbreak when you delve deeper and realize there's no AI really. So your advice, very point on, that show the outcome, use AI as a lever. Most of the time that works. Not always you need to build an AI company per se. But if you can build something that leverages AI and helps businesses grow, then that's amazing. My next question is to you, Shekar. So, tell us a little bit about what Wadhwani AI is doing, because in our conversation, there's a lot you shared, and I think the audience would take a lot of value. If you could spend a minute or so talking about that, and then we'll go to the next question.
Sure. I represent Wadhwani AI for artificial intelligence, and like Derick said, we prefer not to use the term AI at all. Our mission is to provide solutions for the citizens in India, particularly individuals who need the solution the most. We've created about 25 odd solutions in AI. We are purely in the deployment space. We've touched about 10 crore people. We've established a nation. About 40% of the country is now covered with a deployment team pan-India. Solutions are in health, agriculture, and education. And the users are farmers, ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, students, children in government schools, teachers in government schools. We have a simple principle in which we solve problems. Deployment first. Think of the deployment environment of your solution before you start designing it. Don't do AI if it is not needed. Don't get excited with AI, it's irrelevant. Solve the problem. Be cognitively intelligent, be unbiased, be clear-minded, focus on your own expertise. There are several people here in the corporate world. All of us understand the corporate world is an exclusion structure. That means it's always pyramids. If you have 200 people, there's going to be one CEO. You're not going to have 200 CEOs and one person. So the question that you may need to ask yourself is, if you're interested, you need not be, but if you're interested, what do I need to do if I want to move up the value chain? And everything comes down to a level of applied knowledge, unbiased cognition, recognition of what you know and what you do not know. Most of us will kid ourselves into believing we know a lot. Not using your past knowledge to solve the new problem without thought. Just because I have a hammer, everything is not nails. That's what happens with AI. I have AI, so I will look around. Yahan par bhi hai. Nonsense. It is not the way you solve problems. Many problems do not need any of this. There is a hype factory. It's up to you. Either you can belong to it, or you can decide that I will use my brain and not belong to it. It's your choice. And that's the choice that we have to make as professionals. I can babble as much as you want on AI, but it is so irrelevant. It is like me telling you, when I show a socket on the wall, uske andar na copper ka wire hai. Ohm's law जानते हो? उसका रेजिस्टिविटी इतना है, रो आई बाई ए है फॉर्मूला, मालूम है आपको? क्या फ़ायदा है भाई? आपको क्या मालूम करना है? उसमें मैं हीटर डालूं कि एक बल्ब डालूं? Think of it that way. Think of it dejargonized, simplified, in a manner that is not disrespectful and haughty from the person speaking about the topic. Suddenly, everything becomes very clear. That's our perspective as an institute. That's what we do. We are humbled every day as we do work with the communities in India. We do real tech work, but we also do very human work. And we understand how you place the confluence of both. So we like to have only good people work with us, good hearts. Anybody can learn AI.
Thanks.
You may not have a good heart.
Thank you for that candid thing. I think sometimes we all need to pause and listen to that not every solution needs AI, and a hammer is not useful in all cases. But coming to Ankush, and I'm going to ask you a very deep question, Ankush. So, for India to succeed in societal scale AI, right, as Shekar talked about, we have to think about Bharat, not just the India that sits in pockets in cities. What is it that is required to build that societal scale AI, and especially with respect to the responsible and ethical AI that everybody talks about? So what is your perspective as a founder? How in your day-to-day life you are ensuring this happens in your company, that the AI you use is used in the right manner with all the right checks and balances?
Yeah. So I'm still having the hangover of the responses. So yeah, so now it's given like we have the AI implementation at scale, and now we're now navigating whether it should be responsible or not. I think just picking up on Shekar's point, right? He's not saying don't implement AI to solve the problem, and eventually AI would eventually be used, right? So the problem is important to solve. And we know, right? So we know we are from AI, whether we might not tell you directly AI is imperative to use eventually, but focus on the problems. Now, since AI would be used at scale, everyone, literally everyone would be touched with the AI solution. And now thinking about being responsible about it, it's not some jargon. It's not something kind of, it's required to be unique. It's not like it's required to be regulated. It's very much required to actually build the solution. Because if you don't think about being responsible, it would not be used, it would not be scaled, and eventually you'll not be able to solve the problem. So responsible AI is very, very important. 4 things I usually used to say when the responsible AI word was coined, and if you know about GPay, it was all built, it's a consortium of many countries to talk about responsible AI and human-centric use of it. So I think 4 things are, whatever we build should be purpose-driven. I always say don't have FOMO to implement AI, because if you see the statistics, 85% of AI projects fail. So without AI, 70% projects were getting failed. Now that number has gone up. It's now 85% projects are getting failed. So I think we should not have FOMO to implement AI. We should have, of course, FOMO to learn AI, and have FOMO to be better in whatever you're doing. So don't doubt whatever you're doing. Don't doubt the domain you are in. Should I switch to AI and all that? So first, be better in whatever you're doing, and later we'll find the use case. I think we should find around 20% of the use cases as individuals and organizations where you see whether 80% of that work can be done by AI better than humans. So since everything is going to be around AI, so now being responsible, again, the paramount point is it should be purpose-driven, right? Everything AI implement, it's not like this organization is doing it, let us also implement the same use case. Purpose-driven. Second, privacy, I think we much talked about, the data should not be leaked and all that. The third is explainability, right? I think most of the AI developers would say, hey, AI is not explainable. Then AI developers like us have no right to go to the public and say, use it. Because if something goes wrong, I'll just say it's not explainable and I'll say sorry. LLM might not be explainable, but the AI system which I give to the consumer, that should be explainable. And how the explainability has to be driven, that should be coming from the AI developers, or maybe if systems or frameworks come in future. The fourth one is inclusivity. So inclusivity is very, very important. I'm not saying don't have biases. Biases might be there. If society is biased, our AI system can be biased. But algorithm biases should not be there, and we need to ensure all critical mass representation is there in the AI models. So last point is when we say responsible AI, it should be energy efficient. Everyone is talking about building our own LLM. I thought the race is over. But I keep saying, this company is building LLM, this company is building LLM. So many LLMs. I think we have enough LLMs. We have enough technology. Now we have to solve the problem. And don't just use LLM because it's there and it's easy. Use LLMs only whenever it is required. You see the data centers where the GPUs are running. It is taking more energy, more cost, everything. It doesn't mean you have money and you have some brains and you say, oh, let's put GenAI there. Think about having GenAI only whenever it's really required. Read about the concept composite AI and use GenAI only when it's required.
Thanks, Ankush. Yeah. So I'm hearing that message again and again that, while AI is there, we need to use our own brains, the natural intelligence, and figure out which is the right use case for AI and how do we continue to grow. You talked about inclusivity, Ankush, and I think that's very relevant, especially in terms of India, given the nation we are. And Shekharji was giving an anecdote like how he thinks of India as a serpent with the head in the latest century and the tail still in the previous century, and how we have to think about moving it forward without forgetting the tail. And when I was looking at this question about foundational data versus foundational models, what is the right AI strategy for India? I decided my intelligence is not enough, and I went to an AI bot to ask, what is the answer to this? And surprisingly, what it told me was a very deep answer. It said in research circles and in academic circles, there is consensus that the answer should be. What do you think the answer should be? Foundational data. How many would support that? Raise your hands. Okay. Foundational models. What's the third thing you are building then? No show of hands? Okay, we'll give it a try again. Foundational data, how many? Okay, foundational models? Okay, the answer is foundational data in the context of India. Because while we might have these large models, if the data is not India-centric, garbage in, garbage out, it won't be trained properly and we won't get the right answers. So with that context, I'd like to come to you, Shekar, right? You talked about, the width of India and the depth and where it is. How do you see the talent and policy part playing out if we have to take India forward as an AI nation?
I just wanted to add one small piece to the responsible AI, and I just wanted you to just mull over this. Human beings are used to interacting with human beings. So if you look at me, if I walk into the room or if I'm speaking to you, there is fairly clear psychology theory that within 1 second you've determined whether I'm credible or not. That's all it takes. After that, that's your gut decision. It's not your brain decision. After that, all your brain does is rationalize. Yeah, I like his kurta. He speaks slowly. You're just rationalizing. The decision is made fast. You do not get that opportunity with AI. Therefore, it's very difficult to trust it. You don't get the human cognitive feel of assessing something in front of you that human beings are used to assessing. A color, a texture, a voice, a tone, a speech. I can, in 3 seconds, sing a Rafi song, Lord Mohammad Siraj's last wicket, and tell I like Ankur very much. Can AI do that? I have to provide a lot of guardrails before I can come to that kind of thing. That's where we are grappling. Coming to the question that you asked, 2 things. Talent. First, talent is a very personal thing. We learn, you can take all the camels to water, some of them will drink, some of them will not. You can push them into the best universities, some of them will learn and some of them will not. So talent is a very personal thing. It's a very self-motivation oriented thing. Therefore, my advice to anybody is ask yourself what you'd like to do, and chances are you'll do it very well. The mistake that occurs is when you're doing something you don't like. So get natural. You'll be very good. I'm sure Siraj likes bowling. There is no doubt. I don't think he likes playing the flute. That is Chaurasia. So do what you like, and your talent will grow. Second, on policy, the government's responsibility is to provide broad guidelines, which it has. All societies, finally, it is up to the individual to follow it ethically. No law in the world has yet been created where it can mandate and expect things to go on well. So to what Ankush said, if you want to develop a proper responsible AI system, it is up to Ankush to do it. The government will make high-level policy statements, have a guardrail, do this, establish bias reduction. So the policies are supportive frameworks. Are you saying that there are no policies for driving in Bangalore? Or are you saying it is the drivers who may be a problem? That's all it is to it. So it is, we take more responsibility, stuff works out. That's what I had to say.
Thank you. I love the point on talent as well. So I'll add to that. do what you love, and also let your children do what they love. Because a lot of time we forget that. Okay, I have the counter ticking in front of me. I have time for one question. Otherwise, I'll keep asking questions. Anybody who wants to ask? Yeah. You have to speak up.
So, what's your take on the AI usage in the legal segment? So, basically, India is having crores of pending cases, and recently the Supreme Court is checking some possibility of using the AI in the legal domain. So in that case, when we move into the future, so the AI is going to take a lot of decisions based on the cases or based on the filing that are happening. So you said about the empathy level. So what's your take on that?
Who is this question directed to, or any of you want to take it?
Shekar, I think he spoke most about the ethical.
So you can completely, so the way you have to solve such problems is not by treating it as one black box problem. So you break it up. You break it up into 6 or 7 process-oriented steps, which we can discuss a lot more in detail later. At each stage, you need to assure yourself that the level of performance of the automation that you're doing using AI is delivering a result that makes sense, that you're comfortable with, that you can hold it accountable to, that is referenceable, that is explainable. All of this should be in each step. In each step. Once you come to mini step 1, you may have automated 6% of your overall task. You may have suddenly gained proficiency in that. As you understand the nature of the problem, each step will have its own design mechanics, its own ways in which techniques of AI can be used to solve the problem. You could also have graphic first, you've got to convert it to OCR. There's a whole set of challenges. So it's not something that you just solve like that. Detailed, specific, precise understanding of problem. Each step, it is about 7 to 8 AI tools are needed to solve this problem, not one. Each one of which will pipeline into the next and has to assuredly perform in a certain manner. And then you may come to a result that is human verified, at least for a significant foreseeable future, for accountability and assurance. Because type 1, type 2 error, you cannot punish the innocent. So you have to safeguard that principle of jurisprudence. You cannot just say, I'll do what I want because AI is there. So that's how you have to design such a system. It will work. Anything will work with technology if you think about it carefully.
Hope that answers. Yeah, thanks. We've been told there's no more time, but I would ask someone from the audience to stand up and give the closing thoughts for our session. Anybody who wants to do that, and you just get like 30 seconds. Yeah, somebody at the back. They raise their hand.
Yeah, hello. I think it was a very enlightening session, and there is a lot of things to take as food for thought. I feel the discussion about this was a very important discussion as far as my understanding about AI goes. India is divided into many layers, and all of them have to come together with the new technology. I also feel that we have to address one more point which I felt we did not discuss to full extent was developing our own AI. On the frontiers of AI, not only adopting AI in the Indian way, but also pushing the boundaries of AI. Besides that, I feel that whatever discussion happened covered the correct picture, the current scope, and it was really insightful. Thank you.
Just one comment, just to reassure you, we are on the forefront. We're the only institute that has developed the capability of taking a 5-second video of a newborn baby and assessing its weight, length, head circumference, arm circumference, not solved in the world. We're the only institute to is doing research to detect whether on a cough sound there is TB, a person has TB or not. So there's institutions that actually are ahead of the best in the world, but they're very domain-centric. They're not generic applications. They're not LLM. They're very precise problem-specific.
Thank you. We are done. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.